Hello, my name is Lexie Tabbert, and this is my presentation for IAEE at Expo. The name for the space that I have created is called What's Your Take? The mission for this project condensed down to three main points: rebranding the space, connecting IAEE members, and facilitating interactions for IAEE's sponsorship A to Z. The Meetup Pavilion was a hit in the beginning years, but as years passed, attendance began to dwindle. To ensure attendees that there is a major change to the booth, rebranding was a must. The overall picture of this booth is to connect attendees, both A to Z and IAE members. Both these aspects were factored into my designs. My vision for the space is to open people's creative side and broaden into meaningful and powerful connections between attendees. Even those who are not the most creatively inclined will be able to participate and succeed. With creative juices flowing, inspiration from one another will lead to bigger and better conversations. Attendees will leaving the space feeling electrified with new connections and inspiration from one another. Now this is really where the name What's Your Take ties in. Everyone has a different story: who they are, what they think, and how they got to where they are. This area is meant for conversation and connections to take place. While the name What's Your Take directly ties into the experience at the booth, it also ties to the goal of the booth. People conversate and connect over personal points. Everyone has their own story and their own take. Geometric abstraction will be the design style throughout the booth. To better understand this style, geometric abstraction is based on the use of simple geometric forms placed in non-illusionistic space and combined to create non-objective or objective compositions. This evolved into the logic of form and space. This form of reduced art emphasizes specifically on forms, colors, lines, and shapes to create their masterpieces. A pre-show mailer will be sent out prior to show date, advertising to return and new attendees that IAEE will be having a new booth at Expo. The pre-show mailer is intended to introduce the look of the booth so that it is easily identifiable when walking around the show floor. Along with the introduction of the booth, the stylus pen attached to the pre-show mailer acts as an introduction to the experience that will take place. While the pre-show mailer doesn't tell the attendee exactly what the stylus is for, it does tell the attendee to bring it to the show. This is intended to create a slight amount of confusion, which leads to curiosity. People will make sure to go to IAEE's booth first, just to find out what the stylus pen is for. Curiosity is good in small amounts, and this pre-show mailer is intended to do just that. The space reserved for IAEE is a 30 by 50 island booth with a height restriction of 20 feet. This is the plan view of what the space will consist of. It includes a large hanging sign, a bar and wine serving area, a lounge area for IAE members or any show attendees that are wanting to come into the space, and private meeting rooms for A to Z Connect to happen in. Here is the first view of IAEE's What's Your Take? This view shows how the design style is incorporated to create a bold, electrifying structure. Use of sharp and curved line is featured in unison throughout the booth. IAEE's main branding colors are used together to create bright, bold textures that act as secondary branding components. With such bright, bold colors, the design relies on its combination of space and form to create a unified structure. Along with the actual structure itself, attendees will be welcomed into the space with a complimentary wine and bar. Attendees will then find a seat at one of the tall tables to take a moment and relax. While attendees using A to Z Connect, the back rooms are available to facilitate those meetings. Lastly, the experience monitors bring us to the next topic. Cascaded down from the hanging structure are 4 touchscreen monitors, 2 on the front and 2 on the back. These monitors house the experience that What's Your Take has to offer. Incorporating the design style, bold, colorful shapes such as triangles, squares, and trapezoids will be scattered on the display monitors in no certain order. If the attendee got a pre-show mailer and brought the stylus pen with them, this is where the use of the stylus pen will come into play. Attendees will be able to touch and move these shapes around to create a composition of their choice. This idea of taking non-objective forms and leaving it up to the viewer of the piece plays on the name of the booth, What's Your Take? Everyone will see something different when presented these shapes, similar to everyone having differing opinions. IAEE is asking their attendees, what's your take? On these displays, there will also be information on the private meeting rooms and when they are available to meet for the A to Z. If attendees would like to schedule meetings in one of the private meeting rooms, they can make appointments on these monitors here. If the attendees are already sitting down inside the booth, they can participate in the experience on the iPad stations housed on a few of the tables within the booth. These stations feature 2 iPads and a phone charging station on each side. Not all of the tables have these iPad stations due to some people prefer to go and have a meeting strictly verbally and don't want to have any distractions. 2 weeks after the show, another mailer will be sent out recapping the booth and its experiences. While the mailers look similar to the pre-show mailer, this mailer serves as a third touch point IAEE will have with its attendees. The images on the mailers recap the experience at the show and display some of the favorite compositions picked out by IAEE. Lastly, the post-show mailer introduces to attendees to come back next year. This concludes my presentation for IAEE's What's Your Take? Thank you for listening.